Hello, my name's Dermot O'Neill and I'm going to run through the Oracle by example for migrating a Sybase database to an Oracle database using Oracle SQL Developer. It's up on OTN. If you get it to the SQL Developer website and click on the Learn More tab, there is tutorials and Oracle by example. So there's lots of examples here of how to do lots of things in SQL Developer, but we're interested in this one, Oracle SQL Developer 3.0 migration tutorials. And there's a couple of tutorials here even in the migration space, but the Sybase one is the only one which breaks down the migration into separate steps. So I have it here. It's going to take about 45 minutes, but I hope to complete it quicker than that just for the purposes of this video. The one thing to know is it includes a set of files, so you can download these files and it will allow you to perform a Sybase migration without even having a Sybase database. It includes files to capture, so we can capture a Sybase database definition, and it includes files for data move, so we can form a data move to the Oracle database. These files are set up exactly how you do an offline data move or offline migration using SQL Developer. So if a customer or somebody who's performing a migration doesn't have direct access to the Sybase database, they can use the exact same method. Okay, so I'm going to keep this to one side and just follow it myself, but I hope to keep it kind of cover all aspects of this Oracle by example. So the first thing to do is create a connection to the Oracle database. With that Oracle database, they create another schema to hold migration repository. A migration repository is just a set of tables and packages in an Oracle that we use, that SQL Developer uses to hold information about the migration. So we'll create a connection to that brand new schema now. It's nice having those tables in a separate schema because you can drop them at the end. Okay, so there's no tables there, it's brand new, but we can go migration repository, associate migration repository, and that's going to create all the tables and packages that we need to perform a migration. Okay, so the next step is to capture that Sybase database that was included in those files you downloaded. So we can create a new project. I right clicked on the projects there and chose new project. Click next. We're going to use the MW rep as our migration repository. That's correct. We're going to give it a new project name. You can give any project name here, but the OBE uses Sybase project Sybase new 1, and also chooses Sybase new as the output directory. If SQL Developer needs to create some files, it'll store them there so you know where to find them. The source database we're going to perform a migration on is actually a set of files. We don't have a real live Sybase database, so those are the files that were supplied. I downloaded them here in the capture directory, Sybase OBE and Sybase 15 OCP. Again, these files can be created by anybody, but just handy in this tutorial situation, or if you were doing a migration and you didn't have contact to a live Sybase database. Okay, the capture is going to publish to, and we're only going to perform the capture. So if you tell the migration wizard proceed to summary page, or you click on finish, it's only going to perform the steps which you've already supplied in the wizard. It's not going to do the rest of them. So convert or data move, that's not going to happen. So we're going to do this step by step. So the capture happens. It's basically loaded that information into our migration repository. So we have this model now. It's like a snapshot of the Sybase database. We can browse it. It looks like a live database. You can see the table and its definition, but it's not. It's just a model. Okay, so before we go on to the next step, you just want to check that the preferences are good for the migration. So you go Tools, Preferences, Migration, Identifier Options. This is the kind of important one here. Sybase is quoted identifier on. 99% of the time the default is absolutely fine here. It's not on, but once in a while you'll find that a Sybase server has been set up, and this option does make a big difference to the translation. Okay, so we can convert that. We're only going to perform the convert, so again I'm going to click proceed to summary page and then click finish, or then click next rather than carrying on. This is the default data type mapping. You can see something like image goes to blob. There are a couple of options here, but the standard default is fine. So it's going to convert the Sybase model to an Oracle model. Again, we're not creating an Oracle database, it's just a model that lives inside our repository. So at the moment it's translating store procedures, triggers. Okay, now it's finished. So now we can browse down through this. See, we've captured database objects and a converted database objects. So this is our Oracle model. It's not a real Oracle database yet, it's still just a model. But we can see that the data types have been changed. If we go down to the procedures, we can see that they've been converted to PL SQL. In fact, we can right click on it and go compare with original. You can see what the original T SQL looked like and what the converted PL SQL looks like. Okay, so I'll scroll down through the OBE here. You can notice here that there's a failure here. You can double click anywhere on these folders and you'll get the migration reports. And the migration reports will tell you if there's any issues, such as a failed procedure here. You can see that there is a failed procedure and there's some limitations as well. I'm not going to go through that at the moment. I don't have enough time, but I will return to that in another video. So the OBE goes ahead and resolves that. I'll go back. I'll have a look at that later on. But then after resolve the issue, to go on to generate the target database. So to generate the target, you right click on the converted database objects, choose generate target. Again, the migration wizard brings you right back into the right page of the migration wizard. You have two options here, online or offline. The offline method, it's going to generate the script. So you can see it's not going to create the Oracle database for you, it's just going to generate a script. If you choose online, it's basically going to generate the script and run that script against this particular connection. So we're going to not run against connection just yet, we're just going to generate it offline, and that file is going to go into the directory that we chose at the start for the project. Again, I'm going to proceed to summary because I don't want to perform the data move yet. Okay, so here's the script. You see it's creating a user called emulation, it's creating a user called DBO pubs2. So when we do a migration, we're not migrating objects into an existing schema like system. We're going to use a connection like system to create other users and move the migrated objects into those new users. So we can choose our system. So again, we're not going to create objects inside our system schema. We're going to create brand new users for that. So we can run the script. Okay, as I said, we've created a user called DBO pubs2. We can create a connection to it and have a look at the migrated table. So this is a live Oracle database. We're just after creating it using the script, and I have a table here called authors. So the next step is to get the data over into Oracle. The data files have already been generated for us that we've downloaded from the OBE. So inside the files there's a data move, and down here we have the files we want to run. So the unload script has already been run for us to create the DAT files. We can have a quick look at them here actually. Inside the data directory you can have a look at the orders, for example. It's just plain text data that was dumped out from each of the tables. And now we're going to use our second set of scripts, which is the Oracle CTL script. It's going to load them up using Oracle SQL Loader into our target tables. So this is how I'm going to run it. It's going to connect to Oracle database. It's going to disable all the constraints and triggers that are on our tables. It's going to move the data using SQL Loader into tables and then re-enable the constraints and triggers. So if we have a look at our authors table again and look at the data, you can see that data is being moved. And that's it. That's basically the OBE completed. Thanks very much.